And so I say those things like, I got to go. And he goes, you're not going anywhere.
He would like hallucinate, and that added to his horrendous relationship, and he would freak out always about 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
I know the instances you're talking about, but I don't remember you.
Dan's gonna be so mad at me for showing up like banged up for the podcast. You're like, you're damn right I'm gonna be pissed off.
And then began an insane tirade about how Donald Trump is in many ways a deity.
As promised, Pedro has a little story for us. Because in the last episode, he admitted that he was a little trying to watch my tone here. But
Please do.
he was a little inebriated.
Encumbered.
Yeah, encumbered.
Yeah.
And he promised us a little story. Couldn't get into it at the time. But Pedro, would you like to give us a sneak peek?
I don't know how to approach it, so let's just dive in. So as you guys know, I purchased some land here in New Jersey, and I've been looking to build a house on that. And the logistics of trying to build on said property is it's complicated. And so long story short of it is that the government told me that I couldn't build in this one spot and I had to build in another spot, which is what brings me into a complicated situation that I have with a future neighbor. Where do I even begin?
Just like what? So what is the scenario?
Wow, I love that for you. So basically, I've met this neighbor previously. I've gone and like toured the property and what have you, and he's like the kind of guy that like wanders over and he's like, "Hey, how are you? I live next door," and he like introduces himself and he's lovely as hell, but he's also absolutely insane, and I just took it as that because like, that's cool. I don't really care. Like, you live your own best life and I'm not trying to like interfere in your own business. And I never thought that we would really like interact with each other in this particular way. So we advance through the story and the government tells me that I am limited in the places that I can build on said property. Now we flash back once again. And this neighbor had told me at one point, he goes, your surveyors, these people who are like exploring the land, telling you where your boundaries are, they're on my land. And I said, okay, I'm sorry about that. And he goes, that's fine. And I appreciate you being cool, but make sure they don't come on my land again. And, you know, my response was, I think as any reasonable human being, I was just like, oh, I'll do what I can.
Was there an ultimatum given?
No, not at that time. But we do advance.
Oh, okay.
So I go back the second time and he goes, hey, they're still walking on my property. And I give the same answer. I'm like, I'm really sorry about that. I don't know really what to tell you. I'm like, yes, I'm going to eventually pay these people, but I don't control what they do.
I don't have them out here on a leash.
Yeah, you know, they're not like
owner.
acting on my behalf. Like, this is something that I'm mandated to do. So like, they're doing what the government is making them do, and I have no control over that. So we once again advance. And at a certain point I go out there and he's like, they're still walking on my property. And I'm like, okay, I'm really sorry about that. I've spoken to them, but there's nothing else that I can do. And he goes, well, if they walk on it again, I'm going to kill them. And I'm like, great, you can do that because I don't know who these people are.
That is an ultimatum.
They're just literally people that I was forced to hire. I don't care. You can kill them if you want. And that's all well and good. And now many months go by. And now we go back forward into the story where the government says to me that I have to put my property into a part of said property that he believes to be his. And so all of a sudden, the scenario where I was not really going to be interfering with his life and merely building my house on a part of land that I had purchased is now intersecting with the reality that he believes that a part of his land is in some way I don't know that a part of my land is his. I don't
Are
even
you
know.
okay with losing that small
I wouldn't
parcel of
give a
land that it
fuck.
was?
I
Like, it
wouldn't-
doesn't affect what you're trying to do.
So yeah, so I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care if not for the fact that the government is now saying that I have to like build it directly on his property. I was going to build to another portion of it, larger piece of land, this and that, and now all of a sudden I find myself in a situation where I have to, according to the government, I have to build on this particular piece of land that he believes to be his own. Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Why do you have to build on that contested part
You
of
would
land?
have to ask New Jersey.
Oh, I thought maybe you had an answer, but
No, there's no answer.
just because government.
The government of New Jersey has said that even though I've purchased 6.5 acres, I have to build on this particular piece of land, which is right up against his home. And for understandable reasons, he does not want that to happen. And he believes it to be his own land.
Well, aside from that, that makes sense.
I get where
Aside
he's
from
coming
him
from,
just
yeah.
like drawing arbitrary lines, because that's kind of what's happening anyway.
Yeah. So basically, as far as I'm concerned, because obviously I've been like so in the weeds with this, so he's wrong. You know, like the surveyors are not mistaken. That's their job. You know, like they know where the property lines are. They find what's called monuments that are like buried in the soil and things like that. So like they found the actual property lines and like they drew them and they were like, here you go. And he's like, get these people off my land. You know, and that's where we are.
But is
And-
he okay with you being on it?
and here we advance. Yeah. And I said to him initially, just to dial that in, I said to him initially, I was like, if they say that it's mine and it's actually yours, I don't care. I was like, we're neighbors and that's cool. You know, like I'm not trying to like, we all have a bunch of acres. It's not a big deal. You know, like I'm going to build my house way over here, way far away from you, because that sounds nice for both of us. You know, we both get to have some peace. And the government said, no, you must live next to this lunatic.
We need contention.
Yeah, we need this violence in the world. Yeah. And so I basically was put in a position where I was like, I have to go and speak to this potential future neighbor.
Or enemy.
And I need or enemy. And I need to make it right. I at least need to like address the situation. So I went there a few times, and he's normally the type of guy that like walks out of his house and he knows that I'm there somehow every time.
Yeah, shotgun is always cocked.
Yeah, and he's just like, what's going on? You know, and we chill. So I went there many times, like to do my own thing, but also like hoping that he would walk out. That didn't happen. So on this particular occasion, I was like, I actually have to go there and like knock on his door. Like I have to do the thing, you know? So I've got the person who's helping me with the building of the property, my project manager. He's like, what are you doing later? And I was like, well, this is the thing that I have to go and do. And he goes, do you want me to go with you? Because it sounds very dangerous. And I was like, no, I don't want you to do that. I have to go and face this on my own, but meet me there. It'll take me like probably 15 minutes and I'll meet you out at the street and then we'll go and like tour the new spot the government assigned us essentially.
This makes
So
more
I get
sense
there,
now.
I get there before him and I go and knock on the front door and it says red, white, and blessed, which told me so much of what I needed to know.
No, that's the Republican live, laugh, love.
I guess so. There's no answer. So I go back over to the property and like in my heart, I was like, good, because I didn't want to do this, you know? Right. I'm like a fairly non-confrontational person. So I go back to my property, and I'm touring around there. And then I see somebody in the backyard. I'm like, oh, shit, that's him. So I flag him down. Hey, it's Pete, you know, I bought this land, you know, maybe I'm building here. Is it okay if I walk over? And he goes, yeah. I wander on over. He's got a little girl with him. I guess his granddaughter, something like that. And he comes over. We kind of meet like a little bit halfway. And he's just like so lovely and jovial. And he's just like, how you doing? You know, he's a little bit shorter than me. He's got like his arm over my shoulders and what have you. And I was like, I'm doing good. How are you? And he's like, oh, I'm doing great. It's like, what's up? You seem bothered. And I'm like, I'm like a little bit ashamed that like it was so obvious on my face, like how uncomfortable I was.
No, psychopaths can read that.
I know, right? Yeah. So I was like, listen, I'm okay, but I've got some bad news.
We gotta have a little chat.
Yeah, we got to have a little conversation, and it's going to be very awkward for me. And he like grips me even tighter, and he's like, "What's going on?" And I basically give him the same spiel as I just gave you guys. The government is saying I have to build over here. You said it was your land. I'm not trying to do that to you. Like I'm trying to be respectful and talk to you straight up, man to man, this and that, all the things that you can imagine. And he lets me get done with the whole thing. And I'm probably very like rambling in that moment because like I'm basically saying to another grown ass man, like, you've always owned this, but guess what? I'm building a house here. Like it's a fucked up situation. And he lets
How
me,
America was built.
yeah, right. Yeah. I'll give you a pumpkin for it. So I get done with my whole thing, and he just like looks me in the eye, and he goes, listen, sometimes in life, you've just got to let go of your pride and understand that somebody's bigger than you, and you just got to take it. And he goes, and guess what? You're my neighbor now. And I was like,
That's
what the
brilliant.
fuck?
What is happening?
Yeah, I don't really know what's happening.
That is the most brilliant way to be condescending and amiable.
Yeah. And it was like chill. I was actually like, I didn't know what to think, but it's what he said.
What do you say to that?
And then the little girl goes, she goes, "Who's this man?" Because I like emerged from the
forgot about
woods.
the little girl.
There's a little girl sitting there the whole time, and she's like, "Who's this man?" Because I literally walked out of the woods. It's like I was just chilling.
Papa, why is he taking our land?
Yeah, I know, right? And he's like, this is our neighbor now. And he goes basically along the lines of, he goes, we need to like consummate. It wasn't quite his words, but like we need to like seal the deal on this agreement where like you're going to build on this piece of land that I've always owned, and have a drink. And I'm like, that's cool. And now he like comes clean a little bit, and he's like, that road that you saw over there that I told you separated our properties, like, I built that on your land many years ago. And I'm like, awesome. And I still feel pretty comfortable at this point. I'm like happy that things have gone the way that they've gone. I'm like as cool as I get.
You're a tolerable
I was tolerable.
A tolerable
He's like,
colonizer.
I built this on your land, and he's like, and that's your land, and he's like, and he's fully coming clean, and I'm like, oh, this is so good. Like I'm so happy about this. I don't have a blood feud,
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
let's now go inside and have a drink. He's like, little one. And like tag along to.
Saying this land is your land, this land is my land.
This is just another game that I've played before. I can't name it.
I need
but
more whiskey.
This sounds like a game I've played. It's probably Red Dead Redemption or something like that.
Probably. So I follow him. Like I said, we met a little bit halfway, and there's a lot of property there. So we take a little walk. Little girl's tagging along. And we wander inside of his house, which is like an old-fashioned hunting cabin. So it's like concrete with tiny little windows, and like just is what it is,
A lot of rooms, like. What are we talking size?
So as far as size goes, it's about 1,000 square feet. We walk inside of the house, and he shows me. There's not like he didn't give me a tour or anything like that, which honestly would have been appropriate to do so, but he didn't choose to do that, and that's fine. But
There's rooms you shouldn't see.
Well, no, because he showed me the only room that I shouldn't have seen, which was the gun and liquor room. Which he called
but what
it
about the rooms you didn't see?
That's fair enough,
Damn.
He goes, let me show you my gun and liquor room. And I was like, awesome. And he shows me that, and it's straight up just guns and liquor
Well, he said
that are just like on the floor. They're like, there's no organization. They're not
in racks.
There's no gun racks.
They're just laying about.
There's no shelving. They're just laying about. Yes, they are.
That is hilarious.
They're just chilling, and some of them were super cool too. He had like a lot of just like firepower in there. Anyway, so he shows me that, and I'm like, sweet. And we go We go to the kitchen, which is right there. Little girl's still with us. And he pours us out, what are they called? Fucking screwdrivers. Which
It's like
is
just
weird.
vodka and orange
It's
juice?
like it's 1 in the
That's it?
afternoon. I didn't say that part. It's
But
1 in the afternoon.
still.
He pours us out some screwdrivers, which I was just
It's a weird
You seem like
choice.
a whiskey guy to me, but to each their own. Whatever.
Going by his liquor gun room.
Right. Yeah.
There was no vodka in there.
So he pours those out, and I'm like, and I'm still like, I'm so happy that he's chill, So like, I'm still like good with this. And the little girl's like playing with a doll or something, and we're just like, basically talking about nothing, And I basically like we take like our first sips out of it. And I was just like, it's just such bullshit, man. I was like, thank you so much for being cool. I was pretty nervous coming over, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I could tell that you were really nervous. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's real. That's a real thing. I was. I still am.
There's a reason that room was the first room he showed
And he goes, but we've got a great president in the White House, and we're going to make everything right again. And then began an insane tirade. Then I choose those words carefully. It was a full-blown speech of some sort about how Donald Trump is in many ways a deity. And just like, and he's going, and like, not only is he going to make everything amazing for all of us, but that everyone else should be executed. And we just had this conversation, and I tried to like interject a few times because I'm not like super political, as you guys know. Like, I love to talk politics, but like, I'm not actually like, I don't care about Donald Trump or fucking whoever. I don't give a shit. But in this case, like I was not Donald Trump. I was not trying to have this conversation about how Donald Trump is amazing. And so I wanted to like kind of interject and just be like, yeah, he's doing some good things, but but he's not awesome. Like, here we are. And that opportunity did not present itself for me. So I continued to listen, and his speech was like vitriolic, is I guess like the highfalutin word that I would use.
Sure.
He was foaming at the mouth a little bit. It was
Nice little.
Yeah, it was like super aggressive, and I was in his kitchen in his home. So I was like, I'm not gonna like fuck with the guy because like that's not my place, like I'm gonna be respectful. And this little girl is just sitting there chilling right next to me. And I just like was waiting, and like 15 minutes goes by and 20 minutes goes by and all this time goes by. And we're like nursing these drinks. Like, I could have drank it like immediately, but that wasn't in the cards for me. And at a certain point, this little like interjection in the story, but she was just like, she interrupts him to be like, can I ask you a question? So it's probably the most like interesting looking person that she's ever seen. And I was like, absolutely, you can. I'd love that. And he stops her, and he was like so polite and decent. Like, I just really this actually did stand out to me. And he was just like, you just interrupted us. And also you say, excuse me. And she paused. And then she looked back up, and she was like, excuse me. And I was like, yes. And in my mind, I was thinking just anything that you can do to get me out of this scenario that I find myself in. And she goes,
please, little girl.
And she goes, I'm Italian and Irish. And I was like, that's awesome for you. Really good for New Jersey. I love that. And he's like, very good. And then she like scampers off to another room, and he goes right back into the fucking tirade. And I was like, just like, I don't know if I leave here. I don't know what's happening right now. And this continues for quite a while, a shocking amount of time. And eventually he begins to like die down a little bit, and I managed to get those words in, that awkward moment where you're just like, well, I gotta be getting going.
Be hitting the old dusty trail.
Hitting the old dusty trail, yeah. And so I say those things like, I gotta go. And he goes, you're not going anywhere. And
that is ominous as fuck.
Yeah. And I said, okay.
Well, what else are you gonna say?
Yeah. I said, okay. And he goes, follow me. And we took about 3 steps to a cabinet in his kitchen, because we were sitting in the kitchen the whole time. We took like 3 steps over towards the cabinet in the corner, and he opened it up. It was like, it's a full like length cabinet, like one of those ones like above the counter type of thing. And
keep your dishes and
exactly. Yeah. He opens that up, and there's no shelves in there at all. It's just a paper plate with a gelatin mold on it.
I did not know about the paper plate part.
At the floor level of it.
I
see all of this happening.
I know I have interrupted your story.
You're good.
But I did not know it was a paper plate.
It's a paper plate with
which
like
is
the
weirder.
ribbed edges.
No,
on it.
Your traditional Dixie.
Yeah.
Whatever. That puts this in a different context.
I don't know how it does, but yeah.
Well, like, you still have to, like, I've heard this story before, so you continue.
So
and I'll tell you where
he takes it out. I'm like standing right next to him, of course. he takes it out, and there's this like gelatin mold on it that's like, I don't know, it's like yay big. He takes that out
Like a bun cake.
something like that. Yeah.
Sizable. Like that.
It's a sizable object. I'll put it that way. And he takes a butter knife and he slices off a slice of it, and then a second one, and he says to me, "Eat this." And I asked him what it was, as any reasonable person would do, and he said, "Eat it," and I did. Because I felt like before I finish the story, full perspective. I was asking this man to give up land that he presumably thought that he owned for like 1,000 years, you know? Like, I was doing a big ask. And all that he's asking me to do is eat some sort of crazy poison. You know? So I was like, I guess I got to do it. So I take it and I eat it. And he goes, and he looks me like right in the fucking eyes. And he goes, "You just ate 1,000 milligrams of THC," with a straight look on his face. And then he pops his own slice in his mouth. And I was like, I'm in for a journey. and then like, I was like, I gotta go. Before
Clock's
this
ticking
hits
now.
me. Yeah. And him and his little girl like walk me out. It was quite lovely. She was once again like, "This is our new neighbor," and he's like, "Yep, that's the new neighbor." And we treat him with
If he
respect. I'm like,
survives.
I wish I had that fucking respect a minute ago. Yeah. They walk me out. He gives me a hug, something that I didn't really want or need. But that's the thing that happened. And I walk back out. And this is where Steve, Mr. Project Manager Boss Man, comes into the story. I walk back out. He's been waiting on the road the whole fucking time.
Oh, he didn't get a slice.
He did not get a slice. I walk over to the passenger side, 'cause it's a narrow road. Walk over
somebody's
to the
gotta
passenger
drive.
side, and I tap on his fucking window with my fucking ring. And so it's like a cop knock. Yeah. And he fucking jumps. I was like, I have to go home right now. You won't believe what just the fuck happened to me. And then I went home. And I believe that I came out here to this studio,
That is a fact.
and I sat down in this chair, and I believe that at that point the THC was hitting me, and I do love to get high. Like, that's a thing that I enjoy on my own time, in my own way, not when it's forced upon me by some fucking stranger
your
who
own
I barely
dosage.
fucking know. Yeah, and it's never 1,000 fucking milligrams. And I was fucked up. And now you can take over, Justin.
Yeah.
Because that's where I piece the fuck out of this story.
Well, also, before you jump in, Justin, there's a quick interstitial on my end. I know I mentioned this on the last podcast, but it's worth repeating. I get a call from Steve.
I was being nice to him in the story.
He usually does not call me. So I was like, oh, Steve's calling me. I wonder what this is about.
It must be important.
It must be important. And then he proceeds to be like, "Oh, Dan, Pete just took like a whole bunch of THC. He immediately just like
Ratted him
ratted
out.
you out.
Snitched me like that. Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, Dan's gonna be so pissed at me. And I was like, yeah, the way you're
I did
describing
say
it.
that part. I was like, Dan's going to be mad. That's fair.
And the funny thing about that too is, so like a little bit of full circle in terms of the story from where I'm coming from. I heard this and I'm like, again with this podcast where somebody is showing up effectively wounded.
It's called Loud and Drunk. What do you want?
Yeah, well, that excuse never worked for me before.
Yes, exactly. And I was
Because
actually
typically it
Dressed
was
like you're from the fucking Caribbean.
he's dressed like
I
he's
am.
Hunter S. Thompson. Let's call it the way it is.
what? It's backcountry. That's why I came out. But like typically, it is me who does these things of like whatever you did. Like just eating whatever somebody gives you, and what's different about it is that I know it's filled with hallucinogens or some kind of like
I knew it
mind-morphing
wasn't
things.
like I knew that he wasn't giving you like a straight up gummy. I knew that there was going to be drugs in it. I just didn't know what drugs.
Well, I don't know
And,
what a
and
straight-up
honestly,
gummy is
thank
then.
God it was marijuana. Because like Jesus Christ, if he had given me fucking acid or some shit, like I was gonna. Obviously, I took it before I knew what the fuck it was.
Well, even if
Well, you had no choice.
I know I had no
Really,
fucking choice.
but-
Yeah.
even if it were that case, because the entire time now that he's given me this warning, I was thinking, it's like, are we going to have to hold Pedro out? We're going to say like, nope, it's just the three of us for this episode.
Yeah.
You go, lay down and sit this one out, this, that, and the other thing.
Would have been nice.
And I actually did think of this particular scene from The Simpsons where, what was it? Homer bumps into the cannon and then the pig balloon floats away, and then like the one roadie goes like, there goes this big finale. He's like, he's gonna be pissed off. It's like, you're damn right, I'm gonna be pissed off. I got that pig at Pink Floyd's garage sale, and that was the thought that I had this entire time. Or it's just like, yeah, Dan's gonna be so mad at me for showing up like banged up for the podcast. You're like, you're damn right, I'm gonna be pissed off. But then I get here, and this might be a little bit jumping ahead. You were coherent, so I'm like, all right, I have nothing to be really pissed off about anymore. And I'm actually kind of mad at you now, Steve, for making me that angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it was in your head.
Yeah, it was in my...
that Steve implanted.
Yes, because he tipped me off like a rat.
Snitches get stitches.
I don't remember doing that podcast at all. And what I will tell you is that I was absolutely high for like 48 hours. I was fucked up. It was like, you
said longer than that. Well, not that you were high the entire, but like you were still feeling residuals.
Yeah, and
a week later.
I take edibles. Like I'm not like above that in any way, shape, or form. I'm way about it. You know, I enjoy drugs. I think that drugs are good, but I like to be knowledgeable of the drugs that I'm taking, and that's not what happened.
Of a wisp of control.
Yeah.
Well, that took you out of your comfort zone because you are a very you're a control freak,
which was his. Which, in fairness, was his point. The point that my neighbor, to get back to that, what he was doing was getting me out of my comfort zone.
Well, yeah, you can't control land, man.
So let's circle back because, Pedro, you threw it over to Justin. You had just gotten here.
Yeah, so Moses and I had come down a little early that day. We had packed up the studio for something happened the week before. The studio had to be reset up. We get down here a little early. See Pete's truck there. Don't immediately
in
see
spirit.
him. We come in, start doing it, and you come in without saying anything.
Yeah. Just so you know, real quick,
Which was odd.
My
Which
own
was
interstitial to your story. I saw you guys park, and I was while you parked, and I'm shitting on myself with this, but I was literally holding my cat Leo, like Dr. Evil, and I watched you guys get out of your vehicle, and I was like, I must go and see them.
Yeah, so we're like starting to set up the cameras and the microphone and what have you. Pete walks in, doesn't say a thing.
No, just sits down.
Just sits down.
Like looking at us.
Yes. Which is not how you operate at all.
No.
And
No, yeah, like usually when Pete walks into a room, he's already talking for about a half hour beforehand.
It's a buildup.
Yeah, well, I mean, whatever your method is.
You come in, you sit down, and you take a beat, just like looking at us. And my brain's like, what the fuck is happening?
I'm so glad that you spoke to me in that moment because I was so uncomfortable.
I was savoring the moment because it's like something that I typically do and how I live. But I was like, oh, this is a weird look on Pete, like doing what Moses does.
And I don't distinctly remember how the conversation started, but you kind of just rolled into the story.
It was just blurted out like that. There was no like, hey, how are you? There was no like, oh, what up, bud, or like any kind of.
I don't think that I was capable.
You were just like, so, how many people here have had 1,000 milligrams of fucking THC?
That's probably
in the past half hour.
So,
and it was just like it was a weird thing because this was before you had. At least I think you, Dan, had gotten.
I'm having flashbacks.
The nod
because there was levels of communication between us too.
Because when Steve warned me, I maybe took like 10, 20, maybe even 30 minutes to like process it. And then like I'm getting all of my stuff together. I'm packing up the gear that I need to record the podcast. I'm packing my drinks because I need them for this podcast, as can sometimes be noticeable.
So yeah, you essentially give us a quick download of what happened to you. And then you're, like I said, I don't remember this thing remember the words, but you're like, essentially, I need to go away for a little bit. And you disappeared.
I took a shower. I think I laid down in my shower.
You said something happened, but you wouldn't. Like you have,
I don't know.
You were just like I ate 1,000 milligrams of THC and then promptly left.
Okay. Yeah.
Where I was just like, that doesn't seem real.
I basically, like, to put it in perspective, I took that with him and then I like went and knocked on Steve's window, and then like we discussed that matter, and then I got in my vehicle and was like, I have to get home before this hits my bloodstream because I can't operate a vehicle safely if I'm high as shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you drove there?
Yeah.
Like you both took separate cars. You and Steve took
Yeah,
separate
no,
cars.
I don't have a fucking chauffeur. Yeah, I
well-
fucking drove myself.
I don't know. Like, I got one.
Yeah, I fucking as I pulled into the driveway before you guys got there, I like pulled in and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, this is not okay for me." And I like went inside the house and I like lay down with my cat for a minute and I chilled, and that's why I saw you guys like pulling up to the driveway and I'm like, "Oh my god, they're here so fast. I have to like get my mind right." And then that situation where I told you guys what was happening, that happened after that. I was already feeling it.
Yeah, so you got up and did what you had to do. I'm not even kidding. Maybe 2 minutes later, I get a text from you, Dan.
That's when we found out he got ratted on.
Well, yeah,
Fucking snitch.
Yeah.
it was. I mean, not. Your first message didn't particularly give everything away, but it's like, "Are you down there setting up or something?"
Yeah, you
like
guys
that.
setting up right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like that.
Like, yeah.
Which was kind of a ominous
Yeah.
thing where
Yes.
he's like, "Oh, if you're there, maybe we
There was a
won't."
bit of a tone, and then Dan, like I said, I don't remember distinct details about the conversation, but you laid out what you heard from Steve,
Open too.
and I was like, "Yeah, Pete's weird, and he's disappeared at the moment."
No.
Let me see if I can find
yeah,
exactly what I wrote to you guys, because I don't like.
I'm sorry for giving you guys this stress, but like for real, I didn't.
No, you were.
This was not on me. Like I'll take the responsibility for
Like-
the choices that I made leading up to it, but not for nothing. Like it's not like I tried to get fucking
No,
stupid high.
no.
No, I know
didn't
it
wanna
wasn't.
be high.
It wasn't like you didn't want to do
I
that,
didn't
but you
wanna
could have
do it.
said no. I know there were like
I couldn't.
I
have.
get the circumstance you were in where that is
I
not
had
the
to
best
say yes.
option,
Yeah.
but
What
you
you're saying-
could have.
what
You
you're
could
saying-
have.
what
Like
you're-
there was the option to say no.
What you are saying is the equivalent of that you're an undercover agent and you're at a fucking drug deal and they're like, "Yo, do a line," and you're like, "Yo, I have a choice, so I'm gonna choose not
Well,
to do it."
let's call
Yeah,
it.
I didn't have a choice, dog.
Let's call it fucking apple, like, because what you're saying is apples and oranges. Like,
No,
doing
it isn't.
Doing a line is a lot different than doing.
I
like,
wish it
granted,
was
you
a
didn't
line.
know it was
I wish it
10,000
was a
milligrams or
fucking
1,000
line.
milligrams of THC.
I was being
which is-
tested
but-
by somebody that I was asking something from who was like, so this is like the equivalent of a drug deal where it's like he was asking me to like do this fucking thing and I had to fucking do it.
Yeah, but it wasn't a drug deal.
No, I was asking a
So
fucking, I was
where
asking
I'm losing
lunatic-
my-
a man who just fucking went off the fucking rails talking to
I
me about
get
how
that
fucking,
you walked through his room of booze and fucking guns.
This little
Okay,
It's
argument
very
is pointless.
scary. Like that's
Yeah.
a scary thing to do.
So then let me add into it this part of his rambling, which I didn't choose to get into, is that he described to me. We've all heard about the flooding down in Texas, right?
Yes.
The flash floods that happened there.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
So he described to me how flash floods can't get that high
That's
naturally. They can't. They can't.
that's.
So you know Joe Biden. You heard of him?
Once and Parks
So
and Rec. Yeah.
he is on the one hand completely incapable of being the president, and like as
fair.
far as his faculties go, he's not there. Something that I would probably agree with. But at the same time, he is very much so personally bringing MS-13 members into this country so that they can plant bombs into the groundwater in Texas.
That's a
And
ridiculous
stop,
thing.
Stop. Because you wanted the explanation, and now I'm giving it to you. They plant the bombs in the groundwater, and that's what causes those floods. And I sat there in his kitchen, and I listened to all of these things. And you're going to sit here and tell me that I had a fucking choice?
Oh, you had a choice.
Circling back.
Yeah.
So at approximately 5:15, that's when I sent you guys the "Are you guys setting up?" text. You had responded, "Yes, sir," and 5 minutes later, I was just like, "I got a call from Steve. Said Pete may be fucked up. Is that the case?"
Yeah.
We had already interacted with Pete at that point. At least
yes,
Justin and I had already interacted with Pete here.
That's what I was thinking
And-
too, because like
And he was I've seen him better, but he wasn't.
Me too.
He wasn't terrible. And for that podcast,
Let me tell you, in my mind,
you held it together. Like you held it together.
Thank you. That's the best compliment I've ever gotten.
That'll probably be the only compliment I'll ever give you. But like,
I said thank you.
You guys keep talking. In some level of fairness, like communication continued a little bit, and you had come back, and I think I told Dan to something. I'm like, yeah, he's off, but he's cogent. Like he's communicating.
Coherent. Yeah, he was fine to do what we do.
Well, I mean, the one message you did send me is like Pete's rambling about being like force-fed THC or edible, where I'm like, all right, now this is starting to like really stack together like what I'm going to have to deal with as a person who leads us in and produces the
I didn't
podcast
want
and all
any
that
of
stuff. And then I show
You
up.
shouldn't have moved.
I don't remember what I said to you. I'm like, how you feeling, buddy? Something like that.
Oh.
And then you were able to answer. And I was like, all right,
I don't remember any of that night.
that's better than some of the podcasts that I've had to.
I like the drink, Dan. Don't judge me for that.
I don't question the drinking aspect.
None of this
I
had to do with
question-
drinking.
I have that moment from what is that X-Men, Pride of the X-Men, that the pilot that we talked about a couple of.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Where it's just like I don't question the amount you drink. I question when you do it.
It's fair. It's fair.
The timing is a little off.
The timing is off. I don't mind if you have a couple drinks during the podcast. It's loud and drunk.
It's loud and drunk.
I mind when you're blackout drunk and we hit record.
My only guilt about it, if there was any, and it's very minimal, is that I very much so did not choose this. And I understand that my choices led up to that moment, but it's not like I fucking just got wasted at a bar, and was like, oh yeah, fuck everybody. No, I like legitimately was like, I have to do the podcast.
No, there was no
I wanna
malice
do these
behind it.
things.
It was just a
and
circumstance.
I thought that I was going to confront the neighbor and that he was going to shoot me and that I would never have to see any of you again and I would be dead. And that's like a life that I had basically resigned myself to. And
Welcome everybody to the Loud and Dead podcast.
Yeah. And instead, he was so jovial and just a lovely human being who chose to give me drugs by force. And that's
force.
Yeah, I had to do it.
Yeah, like I know you did it.
You can't make this argument while you're dressed like that.
Why? This is the only dress that I can make the argument in.
I've done last night.
You didn't have to do it. You chose to do it. It's all about a choice, man.
Anyway,
You weren't raped into a fucking drug addict.
oh my goodness.
I think my personal, because I have a very limited memory of everything that transpired that day.
Well, I want to give you a
will
little bit of
say-
credit. You hung out.
I did.
I
my
thought it
best.
went well.
You were
did
there.
my best. Yeah, I
you
really
You
did.
participated.
Yeah,
You did
I
well.
tried.
All things
I tried.
considered.
You had moments where you were like, offer up your opinion and all that stuff. So it's,
I didn't
like,
sleep
the
for like
podcast
2
did
fucking
not,
days,
the,
dude.
The podcast
that's
did
not what
not
we
go
recorded.
poorly. So that's we never had a moment where I had to stop recording and scream at you because you ordered dumplings halfway through. Moses.
What? Dumplings are great. Whatever.
My favorite part of that particular story is that when I knocked on Steve's window and I did that cop knock, that he fucking jumps. I don't know what the fuck he was doing in there. He was doing
Probably why he
And
called
he
me.
fuck-
Like,
yeah,
saying
he
that you're-
jumped, dude. It was awesome.
Isn't most of his car
we don't
glitter?
question what happens in his vehicle.
Most
That's
of his car is
business.
glitter, isn't it?
I don't know how to answer that. Yes. Yeah.
That's a heck of a story, man.
That's quite a tale.
yeah.
Yeah.
Neighbors are weird.
Neighbors are weird, and that would actually bring me to another point of, does anybody else have any weird neighbor stories?
I got one. So back before Hurricane Sandy, so probably like 2011, back when I lived by the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had a neighbor who's no longer with us. So like, I'm just gonna tell the story as it is. It's not a one-time event. Who was just called a raging alcoholic.
Hello?
Top to bottom, like he
We
woke
just heard
up.
their story.
He like woke up like blackout drunk, and that was just his life, top to bottom. And he had a very contentious relationship with his lady, who hilariously was also my mom's cousin. And he would like hallucinate, and that added to his horrendous relationship. And he would freak out always about 2-3 o'clock in the morning and try to break into our house.
I would shoot somebody.
Yeah, almost.
I know it's New
guns are
Jersey,
for?
but like I would still shoot
Almost.
somebody. Yeah.
And yeah, he would try to like get in through the windows,
No.
banging on the door, because him and his lady, because he's blackout drunk, and she's dead too now. She was also probably blackout drunk. Would get into fights, particularly at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh boy.
Like
And
fist
then-
fights or vocal fights?
They would beat the hell out of each other.
I mean, context is key.
Obviously we would not let him in. By the time he already got to our house, she had called the police for domestic. This happened many times. And then he's like, you gotta hide me. You gotta hide me. The cops are coming. No. Louis, no.
Yeah, it's a hard no.
Yeah. And then that property backed up to the woods and marshes, and he'd go run into the woods, only make it about 10 feet.
Because you get stuck.
Yes.
It's marsh.
Yes.
It's not really woods.
And the cops would come, and they would arrest him, and I'd have to make another statement because it was on the property we were living in. And
that's so
yeah, that happened. No lie, in the 2.5 years I lived there, probably about a dozen times.
Wow.
God
That's
damn.
a lot.
Like, because that's a hassle for you when you have no involvement and any respect. Like, I don't give a shit if, like, I hope my neighbor doesn't beat their wives. But, like, if that's happening, I don't want to know about it either. Like, just leave me out of this. I don't want to talk to cops.
Stay over there.
Yeah, just do it there. Like, if you're doing it, like, don't. But
I do
like,
agree with that. Yeah.
But like at the same point, it's
Mind
like,
your own
I
P's
don't
and
want to
Q's.
be involved. Like, I don't want to have to go to court cases and shit as a key witness and
I mean,
shit.
I never had to like appear for anything.
but like,
Well, no, they're dead.
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I don't want to talk to the cops.
And that takes time.
Yeah.
Like I said, this would happen
Yeah.
like 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so
now I'm dealing with the
When
cops
you're trying to
before,
sleep.
Yeah.
and I'm going to work in 2 hours after that.
Yeah.
Because you're a reasonable alcoholic, a responsible alcoholic.
I ain't fucking people up.
Yeah, like, I ain't beating nobody. I drink till I get drunk and then I go to sleep.
take a
and
nap,
it's like,
yeah.
goddamn.
Is it
Like-
too late to change the name of the podcast to the Reasonable Alcoholics Podcast?
Probably not. We
The
only
answer is
have,
no.
What
Yeah,
do we
we
have?
can totally do that.
669, and thank you. You made this possible, so it's your fault. I mean, thank you.
Otherwise, I've had decent. I've had great neighbors, and I've had decent neighbors. That particular time in my life, that was crazy. I've had problems where I've lived in apartments where, like, I was on the downstairs apartment, and the upstairs neighbor would always vacuum at 5 o'clock in the morning, and on
That'll
the dot.
happen. Yeah, that's just like living in an apartment.
Yeah,
so let's-
apartment complexes like that, you're always going to run into that. When I was in the service, we had an apartment, and we always referred to the upstairs neighbor as Mr. Stampy Pants because it seems like they were.
Of course
Band name.
you did.
That's a band name.
Mr. Stampy.
Mr. Stampy Pants is a band name.
No, I'm not gonna give him that.
Because it always, first of all, it's not the credit of me.
Okay.
It was a name that came up by one of my friends, and because it always seemed like they were always putting the full force of their entire body into each and every step.
It's
like,
all a full step.
yeah, Jesus Christ, are elephants living up there? For the love of God. It's not like we were any better. We had loud ass parties.
Yeah.
We were like 20, 21,
Yeah,
22.
But they're also quieter when you're on the first floor
Yeah.
in comparison.
Some of those parties, I don't know how there's any possibility that we could be quiet. There's a lot of drinking and loud music and just overall shouting.
God bless.
I have a story, and it goes to Justin's house, really, where there was his one of his neighbors
Yes.
is the family, I guess, is whatever they are, and one of
They're fine.
their kin came over.
Their son.
I don't really know how
Yes.
they're all related. But like, cuz I don't even remember him. Like, this is somebody that I allegedly kind of grew up, like, he was younger than me, but still like hung around the same people.
Who the fuck is this person?
Well, it's not for this.
All right.
But and he got angry at me because he came over one night, like Justin was
Having some
having
people
a
over,
party
yeah.
for whatever reason, like whatever it was. And he came over just because.
He heard noises in the
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, I'll continue drinking," and hey, I get that because I kind of do that too. But he came over, and then it turned out like he like recognized me first, just from high school, and I have no recollection of this person.
Fair.
Yet we were like, he was citing all of these instances of and people, other people that were there, and I'm like, no, I totally remember what you're talking about. I just don't remember you being there.
Really got it, like, in his crawl about not knowing.
And like,
who
yeah, he
was.
got upset about this. Where another friend of ours that has nothing really to do, like that didn't grow up with me, and she was like defending me. Not that like I was gonna like swing because I don't like I'll wrestle people just drunkenly, but they're all friends. But I'm not. But I'm not gonna like just swing off errantly because I am at base an asshole. But this guy was being like kind of extra.
You really upset him by not knowing.
Yeah, I just couldn't play, and I was calling him any other. Like I was just trying to identify him and using.
So wait, so
other names.
So you met like a random person, and they were like upset that
This is my neighbor's adult son, who's generally around Moses' age, whatever that is.
I think he's like 3 or 4 years younger than me. But
Shit. So they were upset that you didn't remember them? Is that the gist?
that's kind of the gist, and I couldn't place him, but everything he talked about, I knew exactly what he was
Why
talking
were
about.
you even having this conversation then? That's
Well, we were drunk, and this is happening.
asinine.
Like I was just, like I let people talk sometimes.
It went on for a long time. I think I walked away from it like 5 times.
Yeah, and I was trying to place them because I just wanted to like, oh, I should know you. Like you're making it seem like I should know you, but I have nothing. I got nothing. And like, yeah, my memory is almost shitty.
Wait.
It's almost shitty. And it was just like, I got nothing for, like, I can't even place you. Like, I know everyone you're referring to. I know the instances you're talking about, but I don't remember you personally being there. And that he took offense to that. Like, he was also drunk, just either as drunk or more drunk than I was, which is, you know, that's a chore. But but it was just, and then a friend of ours was like defending me where there was no need for it, and it got into this kind of altercation.
Just escalated things.
Yeah, it made it worse where I was just like, I'm sorry, I don't remember you. And it was like, it was your neighbor. But and I was just like, I still can't remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
To
Just
this
keep it that
day,
way.
Yeah,
like I like it because it doesn't like.
Can we go with Archibald?
Sure.
I wish because that I would remember.
Yeah, it's a good name.
Oh, that was a brilliant name. No, I think it was
It's a brilliant.
it was Tom or something like that.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Yeah, it was something stupid like that. That is just
Yeah.
aggravating.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, he didn't live there, but yeah, he would visit his parents' house, be tuned up, and on the rare occurrences that, like, I had something going on in the backyard, if he heard that, it was like a dog whistle to him.
It happened-
There's drinking happening. I can do more of that.
It did happen a second time, not to this degree of him being aggravated because at that point he's just like, oh, I'm forgotten. But at least to me, like, I don't know. Like, I'm sure he has friends and whatever. But
I mean, you're saying that.
I don't know if he does. I don't
This guy I
Because
have
most of who he
mutual
was
friends
talking
with
about were
that I've
dead.
had to call to essentially escort him away from my house.
know. See, I'm not the
He's
worst.
like he's a problem. He's never like a violent problem, but like just an annoying problem.
And even that instance, I don't think it was going to get to even like throwing hands or anything. Like it was just going to be like we were just going to yell at each other more and more. Where I'm like, I don't know you. He's like, yes, you do. And then that's kind of like it was
Kinda
such a
what it was.
stupid thing.
So-
It's-
I have a story. If you have, if you're finished with yours, Moses.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I got more, but you go ahead.
I actually didn't. Just thought about this now.
Do
So
you have a problem with one of my neighbors, too?
no. But for whatever reason, it reminded me because a bunch of neighbor stories just flooded towards me, and I'm like, all right, this one actually seems relatively funny. So my kid's sister, sweetheart, finds this Frenchie that's just walking throughout the neighborhood. She picks it up and she's like, this dog's gonna get hit by a car because it's walking right by a busy road. And then
What
she
is it?
calls. What's that?
What is it?
It was a Frenchie, a French bull.
Oh, okay.
Just find some little French
I heard French sheet, and I'm like, what? It's just a piece of
French
paper. Let them
steward.
run
She
it
found
over.
French steward.
Oh, all right. No, don't
so-
hit the dog.
She calls me, and so like, oh, I've just got this dog off the road. I don't really know what to do. And I'm like, honey, I'm about to go into a meeting right now. If you give me about 30 minutes, I can help you with this issue. Go to the meeting. Get out. I just call her. I'm like, all right, what do you want to do? Well, how do we handle saving this dog? And she's like, she's just chilling in the car with the dog on her lap, like got the air conditioning blowing. And I'm just like, honey, you can bring the dog here if you have shit to do. And she's like, all right. She brings the dog. She brings the dog over, and then like as she's walking, my dog, the Frenchie, I didn't take the dog. That was just a slip.
I don't know.
As she's taking this dog to my property, my neighbor, not from like across the street directly, and not from like the left or right, but from like the left and across the street.
Okay.
He starts having a conversation with my sister about this dog. She's like, oh, that's a nice looking dog. And I'm like, I immediately know what this guy is fucking
Yeah, that's
doing.
a pedophile.
My sister is of age.
That doesn't stop him. That just deters him.
And so, my sister is a grown woman. She can kind of get her way out of these situations. But I was like, I am also kind of like, let's go inside. Let's go inside. This, that, and the other thing. I'm not trying to actively just piss off random neighbors.
Right.
But I'm also like, I know exactly what this dude is doing. Let's just get the dog inside my home. And so we end up doing that. Just for closure's sake, she leaves. I have the Frenchie for maybe 20 minutes. And then she calls me in a panic and just like, the neighbors want to know where the dog is. I'm like, then come get the damn dog. It's not that big of a deal.
When you say neighbors, do you mean owners?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And then she just returns the dog. Now, what happens and what makes this story a little bit more comical is that I don't know how this happened, maybe just dumb luck, my neighbor found my sister on a dating app
Oh, no.
and messaged her. And my sister sent me his message.
Just
and it
when
was,
it couldn't get more.
I don't believe in coincidence.
and I
Stop.
And I read this, and he was really leaning into, like it's creepy the way that he started this, where it's just like, you probably don't remember me, but I remember you. It's like, full stop, buddy. Do not do
like
that.
stop texting
Which
me.
one told you this?
At one point, after this message, my sister, we go back and forth in a text exchange. It's like, you know what? I think it's just better for me if I don't go over your house for the next couple of months because I don't feel safe with that
Or at
neighbor there.
all.
And then in order to add some levity to this, what I said to my sister was, wow, I am so bad with women that my own sister is breaking up with me.
That's
Oh, damn.
yeah. Like I know I get the joke, but that's still a weird. Like that's a weird joke. I like dark humor, but goddamn, that's a good joke.
Wow, what a...
Oh my god.
I got another one.
Oh, please.
So we were talking about upstairs, downstairs neighbors and apartments. You ever get woken up by a fat couple having sex?
Myself, no.
No.
I had that happen back when I lived in closer to where you guys live. I had to get up early at times because I was an electrician. So I got to wake up at like 5, 6, even earlier than that sometimes. And I think somewhere around 5 in the morning, I hear something like something awakes me. I'm a light sleeper. And I
Didn't you have a second floor?
What's that?
Were you on the second floor?
I was on the second floor in that
All right.
apartment.
I just need because that seems kind of pertinent for
Yeah.
you to be woken up.
And then I wake up and I just hear them. And they're talking dirty to each other.
Oh, no.
And I was just like,
How did that go?
what's that?
How did that go?
She wanted him to go faster and harder.
Traditional.
Yeah, that's kind of. I was
I
hoping
can
for
get
more.
off on that shit.
Yeah, I was hoping for more.
You didn't see.
That's it though. Yeah,
You
fast
didn't
and
see.
hard.
You didn't see how these people looked.
Yeah.
There is no.
Well, sometimes
none
you
of
just
that.
got to go by you use your imagination.
No.
Put the peanut butter on me.
Yeah, sometimes it's not just for the dog.
Wow.
This was going
Yeah.
so well.
Oh no. No. We got,
No,
dark.
we're Elliot.
fan
Like,
invited.
Jesus, yeah, he's starting this. God damn.
I mean, yeah, I've had like I've heard neighbors getting it on, but like I don't think I've ever heard them dirty talking to each other, which is it's a different. I don't think I've ever
I
experienced.
forgot
that.
about this. This is just
boy.
these are core memories.
Fresh in.
Yeah, there was a time that I lived in Allenhurst, right on the train tracks, like just off
That's
the
where
train
the
tracks.
dirty talk happens.
But I was living with this girl, and like we were,
Sure.
and it was this little kind of. It was a small like apartment complex where there was like it reminded me of Singles. If you remember that movie, where it was
I
just
remember
like
the soundtrack.
there was like, well, the soundtrack is great, but then that's what I remember. But like there was 3 or 4 places on top, and then mimic on bottom. And me and this girl were like banging it out,
As one does.
and like this was a newly formed. Like I met her at the Red Lion.
Oh, nice.
So-
You fucking did.
Of course I did. Yeah, I was 16 to 20 years old.
No.
I never drank there
I
legally.
hope that you heard my scoffing at that.
No, I did come. Thank you.
What?
But what are you talking about?
All right, go
But
on.
anywho, but we were doing banging out as we would because I was young and
We get it.
You're
and
banging. Got it.
there were
What were you doing again?
apparently
Banging it out.
apparently in this I can't think of the right word for this.
Say it.
I can't think of it. Yeah, it's not Columbine. This compound
Okay.
of it was a compound of sorts that like apparently everybody just kind of did that, and I was new into this and
you
not
in a cult?
introduced to it. Oh, I mean, it wasn't
sounds
a
like
cult.
that.
It
what
was
is
just
this, like a
sex
no-tell
thing.
motel? What is?
It was
It
just
sounds like it was
it
in a
wasn't it wasn't terribly a cult because none of them believed in anything, but it was just like a sex pod, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
And like there would be people knocking on the doors when she was wherever she was working, and I was just there, and you're like, "Hey," I'm like, "What?" And it was just weird, like, because then like I didn't know any of this was a thing.
What's
Like-
the thing?
Well, it was just like a swingers.
Did you say commune before?
Oh, commune. Compound is better because they were all about something. But it was weird because I was just like, what is because I was like, I had no idea this was a thing when I was hooking up with this girl.
Uh-huh.
And like it started to become more and more apparent as time went on when just randos would just
Come a calling?
come knocking on the door, male or female, and it was just like, no, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you here? And they're like, oh no, I'm here for like the 6 o'clock orgy or whatever. And I was just like, oh, and I was young at the time. I think I was maybe I was 20.
Okay.
So I still wasn't allowed to legally drink, but I've been drinking for quite some time, and amongst other things. And I was in the cusp of my and that.
We're really meandering.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to put together. I'm trying to put together my molestation aside from the
There you go.
the Catholicism part of it
Okay.
when I was super young.
Justin.
Processing. So people would try to fuck you at this place?
Well, they would come to the door, and in retrospect, that's
What's the landing of the story?
you can't trust anyone.
Great. Okay. There you have it. You can't trust anyone.
There you have it, boys and girls. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully no children of all ages. If you
I said core memory. Core memory.
it's okay.
Awoken.
You can laugh. It was Moses who started talking as I was trying to close this out. If you enjoyed this episode of the Loud and Drunk podcast, make sure that you subscribe. You can also hit the like button. That'll help us out in the algorithm. And also leave a comment. If you have a terrible neighbor story of your own, you can leave it down there. We are on YouTube and Rumble. We're also on Spotify and Apple if you want to take this podcast on the go. We also have a website, loudanddrunk.com. You can catch up on the podcast there. Pedro can catch his breath.
I'm doing my best. Damn it.
Maybe we can get him some cool glassware so he can get some water because he is choking on his own frustration.
I'm struggling right now, brother. Struggling.
You can check that out at shop on loudanddrunk.com as well. I said the shirts already, right? There's shirts there if I didn't say that before. We also have a contact page if you want to really just let Moses have it for some of his neighbor stories. We're also on social media. We have an X account if you want to follow us there for some reason. We also have Facebook and Instagram and a TikTok account. We are posting videos, shorts on all of those accounts as well. So make sure you follow us there as well. You guys got anything else?
No, I'm cooked on that. I'm still processing.
Pedro.
Todo bien.
All right. Moses, you got anything
No,
else?
I got more, but you go ahead.
Well, we're ending, so the go-ahead is to end this podcast. So, for Justin, Pedro, Moses, I'm Dan, and until next time, I said,
Fuck yourself.
don't take random THC from people you barely know. That's the moral of the story.
Don't tell me
Pedro.
about business.
I've never
Also, don't be a
gotten
rat.
random.
Don't be a rat.
That's the takeaway.
Never
Yes,
snitch.
snitches
Never
get
snitch.
stitches. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck him for real, for real.